All right, a little bit of both YouTube and gaming news. And this has been developing after the announcement of Call of Duty World War II by Activision. They're going back to the past where Call of Duty began. After Battlefield 1 came out, people are like, oh, I want to kill people with ancient technology. And so, after, I guess, the disappointing Infinity Warfare space war game, Call of Duty, they're going back to a World War II one for the 2017 Call of Duty game, which is fine. People want to talk about these games. You have a big Call of Duty community. It's one of the biggest game franchises out there. The problem is with the changing in advertising recently, and with brands pulling out, Google/YouTube/Alphabet, how many names you want to give it, wanted to give the people that are advertising more confidence and give them more control about where their ads were appearing on YouTube. So they gave them these greater controls, but they don't want, I guess, one of the ticks they could do, or sliders. They don't want their ads to appear in front of anything that has to do with war, or I guess, ultra violence. So what's been happening is that the regular Call of Duty YouTubers, the ones that, some of these have millions of subscribers, covering Call of Duty news, gameplay footage, etc., their videos haven't been monetized the past several weeks because they're covering Call of Duty World War II, which is obviously bad, and it's not something that I would think even Activision would agree with, because to them it's free advertising. Obviously, it's getting the word about the game. It's helping build hype. It's a marketing platform that they don't have to worry about. The infrastructure is built in. You have YouTubers with millions of subscribers that are talking about Call of Duty for years. That's their bread and butter. That's what they've been getting paid for with YouTube ads for years. The publisher loves that idea. Nintendo doesn't. They don't like the idea. But most game publishers see it's a win-win for them. It's free exposure. It's less marketing dollars they have to worry about. Why not do that? But it's not working out with some of in the Call of Duty YouTube community. Remember T. Martin? Remember the CSGO skin gambling fiasco of last year? He made a tweet on April 30th saying his channel made $113 on 250,000 views of videos uploaded the past week. Then he said YouTube with a laughing cold sweat face. For those asking, he said that's really low. That's like a 15-cent CPM. Usually it's 10 to 20 times that, which is roughly accurate. $113 for close to 1 million views. Yes, that's not what usual monetization is on YouTube, for those out there who aren't familiar with how it works. So something's definitely going on. And it's as simple as the advertisers, major advertisers, going into their now controls and seeing, like, there's different categories now that they can choose. Profane language, violent content, and unclicking those for, well, I don't want my ads to appear in front of these sort of videos. That's the controls that advertisers have that didn't have before. And this is affecting these YouTubers. It's affecting H3. H3's done videos about it. Good old PewDiePie has made videos about it. This is affecting a lot of YouTubers, whether it's vulgar language, quote-unquote controversial, violence, war, things of that nature, where there are now people that are hired to go look for these videos, I guess, to get a lot of views, and to flag them as maybe being one of these categories, so that if advertisers choose so, if they click off that, I don't want my ads appearing in front of that category video, ads will not appear for that particular brand. So what happens is then there's less advertisers overall, because they'll be less likely to click on that dial on their controls. I think Activision, what's going to happen is, I think situations like this are going to sort themselves out. Because obviously, if you're a big YouTuber before, and you want to talk about a video game that had some violence in it, like Call of Duty, World War II, and now you're less likely to do so because there are less ads appearing there, you're going to just not produce it or work around it, whether it's titling the video differently or description, or maybe maybe you're forced not to even use like the imagery of the World War II gameplay, And so that's going to get back to a company like Activision. Absolutely. They're going to look at this and be like, what the hell is going on? We now have less free exposure. Because before, it's not Activision paying for it. In essence, it's Google paying for it with their platform, their YouTube platform. But the advertisers are basically paying for the advertising for a company like Activision. So these game companies, if this keeps going in this direction, they're going to go to YouTube and complain, absolutely, because they're going to see the amount of eyeballs overall promoting their games plummet, especially from these bigger YouTubers. Yeah, there'll be people that will fill in the blanks, but if you've talked about these franchises for 7-8 years, you build up 1 million or more subscribers, that's hard to replace when you're like a key influencer to that degree, to that group, to that genre of games, to that franchise itself. So developers are going to be mad because then they're going to have to then go directly to the influencers and then pay them maybe for coverage, which is not as organic. It has to be disclosed. There's FTC rules. You have to say whether or not you're being sponsored, or you know there's an ad placed in front of that. So this is going to be trouble. But do I think it's going to smooth itself out? I think it will over time. When you go from a place of no control at all for advertisers, which is inexcusable. Advertisers should have control about where their ads appear. They're the ones fucking paying for it. That's not an anti-YouTuber perspective. That's a common sense perspective. If I'm paying tens of thousands of dollars, I should have some control over where my ads go, or else you're not seeing my money. So you go from a situation where there was none of that to then them complaining and now getting control where it might be too broad now, or the categories are too broad, where if I click off, I don't want any video with any violent or war imagery, where now maybe I'm not realizing that includes video games that might have violence in it. Maybe I want that included. So I think this will be fine-tuned. I think this will be I think this will soften out in the long run, where this will get more sophisticated. There'll be some give and take. Of course, right now, YouTubers are hurting. Some are hurting, and that's unfortunate. But it's the rubber band effect where you go, nothing, snap. And then, you know, it goes too far the other way. It's going to come back to the medium at some point. I'm just not sure how long that will take or should take. It could be months. It could be a year, 2 years before it gets to a more normal place, or it more closely resembles maybe TV, radio advertising, or internet advertising in general, where you could specifically maybe not block off videos that fall into a range of different types of content, but you proactively choose the channels you want your ads to appear in front of. So then you therefore know that, okay, this is a channel that has a few million subscribers. Maybe I don't care if they do something that's quote-unquote profane or uses vulgar language. I know that this is a proper partner for what the product I have that I'm trying to sell. I think we'll get there. It's just going to take a while, unfortunately. And for a situation, for someone like this prestigious Key, he has over 1 million subscribers. He has all his videos demonetized, trying to talk about Call of Duty World War II. It's unfortunate right now. It definitely is. There's gonna be growing pains involved in this time period. I'm just hoping it gets sorted out, and I hope that they resolve a situation like this more sooner than later. But if this keeps happening with big game franchises, say the next GTA comes out, you know, GTA 6 comes out, and then all of a sudden every video gets demonetized from GTA 6 talking about it or showing it. You don't think Rockstar's gonna be pissed about that because they want that coverage, they want it to continue strongly? Oh, they're gonna be pissed. They're gonna figure this out. I think it's just gonna take a while, but they're gonna figure it out.